Because of this bill, something's got to give. So will voters reward or punish Democrats in November for all of this? Joining me is Congressman Jim Moran of Virginia and the Politico's Jim Vandehei. Congressman Moran, I don't know whether it used to be that the members of Congress would get a little card when they went home on break and say, here's what was accomplished this year. How do you do that in the face of the spill and the face of the lousy economy?
I don't know. You know, we really aren't getting talking points from the White House, but there's a lot to talk about. This may be the most successful last 6 months in American presidential history. I can't think of a time that we have accomplished as much as we have. And in fact, you know, in the last 6 months, more jobs were created than Bush was able to generate in 8 years, Chris. People don't understand that. The economy has recovered.
But you got about 41,000 civilian jobs in May. Is that a good number?
Well, you know, we had a lot of Census Bureau employees, granted. But the fact is the economy has come back from the brink. And a lot of that is because of presidential leadership. It is the economic stimulus that pumped money into the economy. It worked. Health care reform, that's transformational. And it was an enormous legislative victory when you figure that the Republican Party has decided they're going to vote against everything. Anything that he offers, they're going to vote no. And yet he got that through. In the House, we got the energy bill through. I think we're probably going to get an energy bill. And now we've gotten Wall Street reform. Those are enormous legislative victories. Now, you know, I know that people think it's not enough somehow because President Obama doesn't get on the stump and rah-rah, but he's kind of an understated guy. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But the fact is he's shown a whole lot of results. And then when you look at foreign policy, I know we're in, you know, an intractable situation in Afghanistan, but the reality is the reputation of the United States around the world has improved immeasurably. He's going to the G20 summit. They're all going to listen to him. They take him seriously, which was not the case in the last 8 years with President Bush. We're getting out of Iraq, and we're going to figure out what to do with Afghanistan, too, even though it's perhaps one of the most difficult foreign policy conundrum that any president has faced.
Well, I don't know. Jim's got, the congressman here has got a megaphone, has given a real sales pitch, Jim Vandehei. As a journalist, you know, you put this in context, the legislative victories on health care, the legislative victory coming up next week on Wall Street reform, which everybody's going to support. Looks like some kind of energy bill has a good shot between now and Election Day because of the concern about we got to do something about current energy needs and long-term needs. And yet we got the atmospherics of a weak economy and we got the oil spill. How do you put it all together? Is it better that he got this done than not? All that he's gotten done.
I think politically getting this bill done obviously helps the president, probably helps Democrats, and I don't think anyone can dispute what the congressman said as far as how much Obama has done during his presidency. I think what the pushback will be from Republicans is, yes, he's done a lot. He's done way too much. He's grown government way too big. And if you look at the cumulative size of the debt, the deficits that they've poured up, if you look at the expanding size of Washington, the question for independence is going to be, did they do too much too fast for too little? And I don't think we're going to know until people actually hit the campaign trail, start to argue about health care, start to argue about the economy, and we start to see some of the results of that, which won't come in until after August.
Isn't the smart thing the Republicans did is cashier President Bush? They deny he even exists. The latest polling shows no support among people for Bush because no Republican will defend him. Because by not defending Bush anymore, Republicans are able to walk around with a clean slate and say, we're against government waste. We're against government spending.
Absolutely.
By not defending him. That's a brilliant move.
I don't know how brilliant it is. It's pretty obvious, but it's pretty effective. And, you know, it's as though Bush didn't ever exist. Those 8 years, they're gone. And when you bring them up, they say, oh, that's the past. You're laboring the past. We're talking about the future. Well, gosh sakes, guys, that's why we're stuck with what we're stuck with. And our pitch now is, you know, things are not as bad as they could have been. Even to say things are not nearly as bad as they could have been, that's not effective.
Why do you let the Tea Party people attack you for the bailout when the bailout was Bush? I'm amazed by that. He did the bailout of Wall Street. He did the bailout of the automotive industry, and you guys get hit with it.
And his bailout went to the banks. Ours went to the states and localities, the teachers and firefighters.
You start off, Congressman Moran, by saying, all right, we have a president who's low-key, who won't brag. Isn't that a problem?
Well,
isn't it a problem he won't sell it? If you don't blow your own horn, who will? He won't blow it.
You know, the reality is, as an African American who got as far as he's gotten, he's not a rabble-rouser.
No, but can he brag a little? Can he tell you what he's doing?
He's not a grandstander. That's his personality. He's reflective. I do think we need to probably do a little more grandstanding because it's our necks on the line now in November. But you know, the reality is we have a very good president. We've accomplished a lot. We're going to have to let the chips fall where they may. You know, we may lose, 10, 20 seats. I don't think we're going to lose anywhere near 30. We're going to still have the majority. We're going to continue to accomplish a whole lot in the next year and 2.5 years. And I think he's going to get reelected, and the country's better off for it. But, it's a tough time. And you've got a political party that will vote no on anything.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the, I don't know how you start this, Jim. It's not your or my job to do it. But somewhere along the line, it seems somebody's got to say, the United States government's based on the idea you have a minority and a majority. It's not based on the idea you've got one party trying to do something, the other party trying to kill them. It's based on one party being the senior partner, and party trying to get its oar in and make some amendments and try to change some things its way. It's the minority party's job is not to destroy the United States government every time it gets up in the morning. And yet the Republicans have been able to get up in the morning every day saying our goal is to destroy the government. That's our job. And somehow its cheering section back home says, good work. Keep trying to destroy the government.
I don't know if it's necessarily destroy the government, but it's definitely they wake up. It's destroy any policy from Obama. There's no doubt, Chris.
Isn't that new in American politics to try to destroy anything that comes out of the White House?
It's certainly worse, and part of it's worse now, mostly because most of the moderates that used to live inside the Republican Party, that lived up in the Northeast, were purged out of the party over the last 3 or 4 elections. So there's very few moderates per se left. There might be 3 or 4 left in the Senate, and those are the ones that Democrats are working over to make sure that they have enough votes to get this financial bill through. So the only way you're going to have any Republicans who want to work with Democrats, or if Republicans actually pick up a bunch of seats in some of those swing districts and bring in some voices of moderation that want to work with Democrats. But right now, there's no incentive in the mind of Republicans to do anything to help Obama or to help Democrats, because they feel that they have the momentum. They feel that they can easily win 30 seats and quite likely pick up many more if they play their cards right. So there's no way that they're suddenly going to say, hey, wait a second, let's work with Obama. That's just not.
Well, what good does it do the
country
for the Republicans, just to ask the question, what good does it do the country for the Republicans to pick up 30 seats in the House?
I don't know if it does anything good for the country, but it might do. But what it could change is you might have more people. You might have more people that would be willing to work with Obama, and you might have Obama more willing to work with Republicans. Like right now, we have an entire system. We have a media system. We have a culture. We have technology that really, I think, rewards the incendiary, rewards conflict, and therefore Republicans right now don't see any incentive to work with them. And that's not going to change between now and Election Day. It might not change Election Day. Heck, it could get a lot worse if you look at some of the senators who might get elected, especially from the Republican
there's
side.
Nothing to being a suicide bomber is the new political role model. Just kill everything, destroy everything, blow it up. Nothing gets done. You're dead, but who cares? Thank you, Congressman Jim Moran. Thank you, Jim Vanderhyde of the Politico, the very hot Politico. Up next, after falling out of fashion, this is so lightweight. I know what we're doing. It's Friday. Okay, give us a break. The mustache is back. Okay, it's Friday. We're having some fun tonight in the sideshow, at least. Which politicians are starting to sport the stash? Stick around for the sideshow. You think this is below you, Jim? You're watching Hardball on MSNBC. Look at this congressman laughing at this stuff.
Mustache back. No.